Hi viewers, this is CJR Creations presenting 10th class lessons. Please watch our lessons and share our lessons and subscribe our channel. Thank you. Good morning students. Today we will discuss about our first lesson, India relief features. Here you may observe one raised relief map. This map showing us about the mountains, valleys, rivers and different things. Means raised relief map gives us the information about physical physical conditions of a particular place. Today we will discuss all these things of India. First, we will know about the location of India. India lies in the northern hemisphere and also eastern hemisphere. Look at these pictures. If you observe this picture, the entire earth is divided into 4 different hemispheres. Left to top showing us northern hemisphere. In this northern hemisphere, the North America, Europe, Asia completely located in northern hemisphere, and north half of Africa also in this northern hemisphere, and very little bit in South America. And left down observe the southern hemisphere. You may observe that major portion of South America and southern half part of Africa and entire Australia and entire Antarctica lies in southern hemisphere. Right top one, western hemisphere. If you observe the western hemisphere, in this western hemisphere, the North American continent and South American continent, half of the Antarctica, and right down Europe, Asia, Australia and major portion of Africa and half of the part of Antarctica. This is the location of different continents in different hemispheres. Yes, observe this picture. Entire world shown in one page, and 4 hemispheres also shown in this picture. Try to remember the different hemispheres and different continents. Yes, look at India's location. The India's mainland lies between 8 degree 4 minutes and 37 degrees 6 minutes northern latitudes, and 68 degrees 7 minutes to 97 degrees 25 east longitudes. This is the exact location of India according to latitudes and longitudes. Try to remember these numbers of latitudes and longitudes. Yes, this is one more picture in your textbook of 3rd page. A lot of information is explained with this picture. The distance between northmost point to eastmost, northmost to southmost and eastmost to westmost, and different surrounding nations or countries, and surrounded water bodies and islands, and the standard or middle meridian or longitude, and also the Tropic of Cancer. Try to find out all these information from this map. And the one more thing shown in this picture, the Indian standard meridian, which is 82.5 east longitude. The time of India calculated based on this longitude only, And Tropic of Cancer crosses India, and it divides into two, North India and South India. And one more point to remember here, Tropic of Cancer passes through Gujarat, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, West Bengal, Tripura and Mizoram. And Indian Standard Meridian passes through Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh and Andhra Pradesh. An Indian Standard Meridian based on 82.5 east longitude, which passes near Allahabad in Uttar Pradesh. And one more point is the time difference between Indian Standard Time and Greenwich Mean Time is 5.5 hours. And recall from your 9th class lesson how to calculate the time difference between two places based on their longitudes. Here once again you observe that Indian Standard Meridian, this is the point of Allahabad, remember. And one more idea about GMT and IST. You know, the time difference between these two longitudes is nearly 5.5 hours. You know very well that the calculation of time difference between two places, there is a 82.5 degrees longitudinal distance between GMT and IST. That's why there is a difference in time is 5.5 hours. We will see about the geological background of India. India was a part of Gondwana land, originated due to geological formations and several other processes like weathering, erosion and deposition. Observe this picture. You know, previously the entire land or entire earth divided into Pangaea and Panthalassa. This Pangaea also divided into two parts. One is Laurasia, second one is Gondwana, 200 million years ago. And slowly Indian plate moved towards northeast and collided with the Eurasian plate. With this, the friction between Indian plate and Eurasian plate created the Himalayan mountains. You can see that India is moving towards northeast and collided with Eurasian plate. Observe once again the collision of Indian plate with Eurasian plate and formation of Himalayas. Yes, there is a large basin filled with sediments deposited by Himalayan rivers and peninsular rivers is created northern plains, nothing but Indo-Gangetic plain. We'll discuss about major relief divisions of India one by one. Yes, here see that in India there is a 6 major relief divisions are there. One is the Himalayas, second one is the Indo-Gangetic plain, third one is Peninsular Plateau, fourth one is the coastal plains, fifth one the desert, sixth one is islands. Now we will discuss about all these things one by one. Let us see about Himalayas. I think you feel very happy by observing this picture. This is Himalayas. You know, the distance from Jammu Kashmir to Arunachal Pradesh is 2400 kilometers. Himalayas length from Jammu Kashmir to Arunachal Pradesh is 2400 kilometers, and width at western region is 500 kilometers, at eastern region is 200 kilometers. Here you may observe that this is the location of Himalayas. This is the location of Himalayas. Once again, observe that western region, these Himalayas width is 500 kilometers, eastern side it is 200 kilometers, length of Himalayas are 2400 kilometers. And one more thing, all these Himalayas are divided into three different ranges. The first one is called Himadri or Greater Himalayas. Second one is Himachal or Lesser Himalayas. Third one is Shivaliks. First one is Himadri, second one is Himachal, third one is Shivaliks. We'll see one by one. You can see that the mountain ranges in Himalayas. Yes, we'll go for first one, Himadri or Greater Himalayas. This is the northernmost range in Himalayas, and these Himadri ranges having very highest peaks. You know very well that the Everest, the world's highest mountain is Everest, also lies in this Himadri range only. And average elevation of this Himadri range is 6100 meters. And one more thing, we may found the different glaciers in Himadri range only. Look at this Himadri range, ice covered. We'll go for to observe different highest peaks in Himadri range. You see that world's highest peak, Everest, 8848 meters. K2R Godwin Austen with 8611 meters. Kanchenjunga 8586 meters. Nanga Parbat 8126 meters. Annapurna 7937 meters. Observe these pictures. And Nanda Devi with 7816 meters. And this is the location of different highest peaks in Himadri range: Annapurna, Manaslu, Everest, Makalu, Kanchenjunga. And this is K2, Nanga Parbat and Nanda Devi. And one more thing, we may found that glaciers in Himalayas, Himadri range. Glacier means nothing but the movement of ice. We may found in Himadri range, those are called glaciers. We may found different glaciers in this Himadri range only. One more picture of glacier. Yes, we'll go for second range in Himalayas, that is Himachal or Lesser Himalayas. These Lesser Himalayas are situated to the south of Himadri. It is rough relief, and highest ranges in this Himachal range is between height of Himachal range peaks lies between 3700 to 4500 meters. And we may found some other ranges in this Himachal. Those are Pir Panjal range and Mahabharat range. These are the important ranges in Himachal range. You may see that Pir Panjal and Mahabharat range. Try to remember that Pir Panjal range and Mahabharat range. And one more thing, we may found different valleys in this Himachal range, like Kashmir Valley, Kulu Valley and Kangra valleys. Kashmir Valley, Kulu Valley. One more picture of Kulu Valley, Kangra Valley. And we may found some other hill stations in Lesser Himalayas, like Shimla, Mussoorie, Nainital, Ranikhet. See here, the picture of different hill stations. Simla. One more picture of Simla. Mussoorie. Nainital. Ranikhet. And we may found evergreen forest in Himalayas. And here you can see that narrow steep valley in Sikkim. And another valley in Meghalaya. These are textbook pictures. Let us look at the third range of Himalayas, Shivaliks. This is the third range in Himalayas, that is Shivalik hill range. Okay, see that these Shivaliks are called with different names in different states. And we'll go for second physical feature. Before it, we may know about the importance of Himalayas. You know, India is getting benefited with the Himalayas in so many ways. The first one is these Himalayas are natural boundaries to India. And second one is these Himalayan mountains obstructing the cold winds which are coming from northern pole. That's why only we are not more cool in winters. And another importance of Himalayas is you may see lot of rivers are originating in the Himalayan mountains only. That's why we are getting lot of perennial rivers like Ganga, Indus, Brahmaputra, which gives us the water facility to our northern plains. And one more importance of Himalayas is with the Himalayas only the climate of India is monsoon type of climate. So if there is no Himalayas, we may lose all these things. That's why the Himalayas are very, very important to our country. Let us see second one is Indo-Gangetic Plain. 20 million years ago it was a shallow basin. It was gradually filled with alluvial soil brought by Indus, Ganga and Brahmaputra rivers. The Indo-Gangetic formed by these Indus, Ganga, Brahmaputra river. This is the location of Indo-Gangetic Plain. Observe here. Yes, this Indo-Gangetic Plain is divided into three parts. First one is the western part, the second one is central part, third one is eastern part. Look at this. The first one is the western part. It is formed by Indus River and its tributaries. You know, Indus River having 5 tributaries: the Jhelum, the Chenab, the Ravi, the Beas and the Sutlej. These are the 5 important tributaries of Indus River. With these tributaries and Indus River, the western part of Indo-Gangetic Plain was formed. Here you may observe the Indus River and its tributaries. This is Indus River. You know, one more thing, the fertile land between the two rivers is called Doab. You can see that there is a different Doabs are there. Sindh Sagar Doab, Just Doab, Reshna Doab, Bari Doab, like that. You know, the central part mainly known as river Ganga plain. It extends from the river Ghaggar to Teesta. This central part is spread in Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, partially in Haryana and Jharkhand and Bengal only. And the important tributaries of the river Ganga is Yamuna, Son, Kosi, Gandak. With these rivers, the central part of Indo-Gangetic plain formed. You may see that in this picture. The western part, the central part and eastern part. Yes, this is river Ganga. These are the tributaries of Ganga. See that? Yamuna, Chambal, Betwa, Son, Gagra, Gandak, Kosi. Yes, the eastern part of Indo-Gangetic plain mainly formed by Brahmaputra river. This is the eastern part of Indo-Gangetic plain. The Himalayan rivers deposit gravel and pebble sediments in a narrow belt of 8 to 16 kilometers width found parallel to foothills of Shivaliks. This is zone called is Bhabar. The area near to the Shivaliks, which are formed by gravel and pebble sediments, are known as Babar. This is Babar. Next to Babar we may found Terai. Terai means the swampy and marshy region which is south to Babar is called Terai. Is the third one the Peninsular Plateau. The Indian plateau is also known as Peninsular Plateau. Why? Because this plateau is peninsula surrounded by water in three sides, and the southernmost tip of the plateau is Kanyakumari. You may observe here. This is Peninsular Plateau. This plateau is surrounded by the sea on three sides and having metallic and non-metallic minerals in this area, composed of old crystalline and are igneous and metamorphic rocks. Here, see that crystalline rock, igneous rock, metamorphic rocks, and we may observe different metallic minerals like copper, gold, manganese, pyrite, non-metallic like mica, manganese. Non-metallic minerals like coal, petroleum, mica, manganese. Also, we may found in this peninsular plateau. And this peninsular plateau is slightly tilted towards the east. That's why all the southern Indian rivers are flowing towards east and submerging into Bangladesh, Bay of Bengal. It consists of two broad divisions, namely the Central Highlands and the Deccan Plateau. And one more important point is the rivers in the Peninsular Plateau are not perennial. What is the meaning of perennial? The river which has water throughout the year is called perennial, but Peninsular Plateau rivers are not perennial rivers. These rivers are only rain-fed rivers or inundation rivers. You can see that this is the Peninsular Plateau. This is Malwa Plateau. northern area called Malwa Plateau, southern area is called Dakkan Plateau. You can see that the number 1 shows Central Highlands or Malwa Plateau, 2 shows Dakkan Plateau, 3 shows as Chota Nagpur Plateau. To the south of Narmada, a triangular landmass is called the Dakkan Plateau. This one is Dakkan Plateau. We will see the boundaries of Dakkan Plateau. North side the Satpura range, south side Nilgiris, east side Eastern Ghats and west side Western Ghats. Western Ghats parallel to the west coast, continuous range. See here Western Ghats. See here a place in Western Ghats. Western Ghats are higher than Eastern Ghats, so that the comparative west slope is seen. It extends for 1600 kilometers. And Western Ghats joins Nilagiris at Gudaluru. Here, see that. And one more important place, hill station, is Ooty. Ooty or Udgamandalam. This is a famous hill station in Nilagiris. Yes, this is Ooty. Try to remember the location of Ooty. This is the highest peak in Nilagiris, Dodabetta. Let us see some more information. Dodabetta in Nilagiris, Anaimudi in Annamalai Hills and Palani Hills, Nilagiri Hills, Anaimudi Peak, Annamalai Hills, Palani Hills, Cardamom Hills. Here, these are the Cardamom Hills. The next one is Eastern Ghats. These Eastern Ghats lies from Mahanadi Valley to Nilagiris. They are not continuous like Western Ghats. Here, this is the Eastern Ghats. Average height of Eastern Ghats is 900 meters. Some of the hilly tracks in Eastern Ghats, Nallamalas, Velikondas, Palakondas and Sheshachalamkonda hills. Let us see. Nallamalas, Velikondas, Palakondas. The fourth one is the Thar Desert, located in Rajasthan, leeward side to Aravallis. The located in the Thar Desert, located in the leeward side of Aravallis, it receives very low amount of rainfall, between 100 to 150 millimeters, and sandy plains, very low vegetation, and a few streams appears during rainy season only, and only one river present in this area is Luni, and Indira Gandhi Canal, which is the longest canal present in this or desert area. Here you can see that Luni River, Indira Gandhi Canal, sandy area. Fifth one is the coastal plains. We have two different coastal plains. One is west coastal plain, second one is east coastal plain. We'll go for west coastal plain. It starts from Rann of Kutch in Gujarat and ends at Kanyakumari, and it is very narrower compared with the eastern coast, uneven and broken by hilly terrain. It has three parts: Konkan coast in Maharashtra and Goa, and Canara coast in Karnataka, and Malabar coast in Kerala. See here, this is west coastal plain. This is west coastal plain. The second one is the east coastal plain. It stretches from Mahanadi in Odisha to Kaveri Delta in Tamil Nadu. This east coastal plain mainly formed by Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri, very very fertile lands. And this is also divided into three parts: Utkal coast in Odisha, Sarkar coast in Andhra Pradesh, Coromandel coast in Tamil Nadu. Yes, this is the east coast. This is east coast. This is west coast. This is west coast. This is east coast. And we may found some different lakes: Chilka Lake, Kolleru Lake and Pulicat Lake. Try to remember. Last one is the islands. We have two groups of islands. One is Andaman and Nicobar Islands in Bay of Bengal. These are the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. They are stretched in Bay of Bengal. They are elevated portion of Arakan Yoma, and we may see some volcanic origin mountains or islands in Andaman Nicobar or Narkondam and Baran Islands. The southernmost tip of India is Indira Point, found in Nicobar Islands only. It submerged during the 2004 tsunami. Yes, this is Andaman Nicobar. Yes, Narkondam, Baran. Yes, this is Indira Point, submerged during 2004 tsunami. Yes, this is a place in Andaman. And Lakshadweep Islands, they are located in Arabian Sea. They are coral origin. Total area of 32 square kilometers. And these Lakshadweep Islands are a variety of flora and fauna. These are the Lakshadweep. Yes, you may see that coral reefs. Coral islands. An island in Lakshadweep.